Good morning and welcome to WJOP Radio, WJOP LP Newburyport, 96.3 FM. And we have a special guest with us this morning, Carl Strube.
I don't know how special I am.
Oh, you're very special. Come on.
But I'm happy to be here, Win. Congratulations to you.
Well, thank you.
On this terrific opportunity to help grow this great community radio station.
That's exactly what it is. I didn't, before I came here, I didn't really understand too much about these types of radio stations, and it really is a service to the community.
Well, a lot of communities have them, and this community seems to be using this station to its best advantage.
That's right. Yep, and it's going to get better and better.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be making a little change, little adjustments for the music, and people are going to like that. I'll bring back the birthdays and anniversaries.
Oh, that's great. It's been on for so many years in this community.
Yeah.
It's great that'll be back.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. I might change the hour on that one. If I had it yesterday, I would have talked about my 20th wedding anniversary with my wife.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah. But it's been a great time.
Yeah.
I'm looking for another 20, 60, 80 years.
There you go.
Who knows, yeah. But anyway, we're going to have a great time tonight with the Cruise in the 50s car show in downtown Newburyport.
We're blessed again with perfect weather. I heard a weather forecast last night that said Thursday is the pick of the week. And so we have been very lucky for 6 years in a row to have such wonderful weather for this event. And it's going to be a beautiful night. Temperatures in the 70s, no humidity, a wonderful day and night to be out walking around, strolling around. It'll be warm up until the event ends at 8 o'clock. So it's free.
Yeah, free.
Come on downtown Newburyport.
That's
support
right.
The local merchants, support the local restaurants, and we have this year more cars than ever.
Yeah, we had Wes Pettengill on earlier this week. He said that close to 250 cars.
Yeah, I believe it is.
I remember the first year, we were wondering, we got about 100 cars, maybe 120 cars, and some of them didn't show up that year.
Right.
And now everybody shows up.
That's right. Well, it's from what I understand from Wes, it's the premier event that car owners want to be at. Mm-hmm. They like to be in downtown Newburyport for this event.
And just a reminder, starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon, because we had City Marshal Mark Murray on yesterday, no parking on State Street or Pleasant Street. So they don't want to tow anybody, but they put the signs up.
And I believe last year we did not tow anybody.
Oh, that's great.
Which was great.
Yeah.
No parking. Please be warned. We have to have room. There's a lot of cars. We got to try to find a place to put them.
Yeah, I know. And they'll be up and down the street, Pleasant Street, State Street, Ian Street, Unicorn Street. They have the Institution for Savings parking lot, the Fins Out events.
Color, chrome, and fins. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great display. Make sure that you make it up to the Institution parking lot to see this really special display of cars that you won't see anywhere else throughout the show.
Yeah, and after you've seen all those, you want to go across the street over to the Harris Street parking lot, because that's where the real expensive cars are. They're all stanchioned off. They're like $250,000 or more.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's a great show, and it's a great family event. It's something you can bring the kids of all ages to. Come on downtown. Beautiful night to wander around. The streets are closed. You'll have a great time.
Certainly will. And then a little bit of music in there too.
Yeah, the Transistors, a great band that plays 60s music, will be playing on the Bullnose. So there'll be entertainment and music throughout the whole event, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be there. You'll be there.
We'll all be there.
Yeah.
Come on down and say hi.
Along with thousands of our closest friends.
Thousands. And we're wearing orangey yellow shirts that say event staff.
Oh, no.
So stop us and say hello. Looking forward to it, Win. Thank you for the opportunity to come on this morning and talk about it.
My pleasure, and we'll see you again a little bit later on today.
Great. Thank you, Win.
All righty. That's Carl Strube, and he's with Cruise in the 50s Car Show in downtown Newburyport, and that's tonight, officially starting at 5 o'clock, but you want to get there earlier in downtown Newburyport. Win Damon here on Joppa Radio, WJOP LP Newburyport, 96.3 FM. Joppa Radio, WJOP LP 96.3 FM, part of the Greater Newburyport Community Media Hub. We now air our morning show on Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport. And we have with us this morning Mary Carrier, who attends quite a few meetings in Newburyport. Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning, Wynn. Good morning.
Nice to have you here this morning. And you were at a meeting last night that was actually held here at the Senior Center.
Yes, it was a meeting on the zoning. There's zoning amendments, and it was a very good meeting and very well attended. Also, it was a meeting with the zoning board, planning and development, and also city councilors. So it was a very interesting meeting. Two of the subjects that were covered were, which I thought were important, were the Airbnbs that we have in Newburyport now. And I guess the reason they're really looking at this now is because there are really no permits or no rules and regulations for this. They are illegal because you're not supposed to have, unless you're owner occupied. And what's happening is people are buying a couple of condos in some of these buildings and not living in them, but actually renting them out. And there was a lot of public comment on this also. But the fact is, they were saying, this is something new that's coming up, and none of the ordinances that they have apply to it, so they're obviously illegal. And, most B&Bs have to have a common entrance. They have to be licensed. I guess Al Clifford was talking. I guess they spend up to $2,000 a year just to run a B&B. They have to be. They have to have a box connecting them to the fire department. So there's all these things, precautions you have to take when you're running a B&B. But apparently these Airbnbs are just apartments that are rented out, and people come and stay. And one of the things is they said they don't really vet the people coming in or out, so you don't know who's coming. Some people come and just throw parties.
Oh no!
So there was one woman who spoke about she bought a condo in a building, but 3 of them were being Airbnbs, and there were people coming in and out, and you don't really know. There's problems with garbage, problems with different things like that. So they were talking about that and saying they really have to look into that further consideration and start setting up some rules, and they have to be permitted. But how do you control it? That's the thing. So they were saying if somebody lives in the house for more than 30 days, then it's considered, I guess, owner occupied. But if you're there for less than 30 days, then that's transient. And apparently, but there are no laws to regulate it. So this is where they're looking right now. They thought it was important that they have to do this, and as I said, there was a lot of input from the public about it. Also, they figured there's probably around 40 in this area.
In just Newburyport or surrounding towns?
Well, probably surrounding towns too, but there are several that they know of in Newburyport that,
wow.
So...
I know they're working on something in West Newbury. They've had issues there, and they're trying to do their zoning bylaws and all that. And you mentioned Al Clifford, and he owns a place. He owns
the Compass Rose, and he owns the Clark Courier Inn.
Yeah.
And he mentioned all the permitting they have to have, and there has to be somebody on site, and there has to be some regulation of it, and of course they, I guess, vet as well as they can the people who are coming in. But this doesn't happen. Airbnb, they just show up, and there's no owner occupation there, and they can, I guess, have as many people as they want. In other words, there are no rules and regulations. So that's something they're looking at, and that's something that they all want to work together to make happen.
Oh, by all means, yeah.
And the other thing they talked about last night was zoning for infill. The way they mentioned it is like, for example, if someone has 10 acres of land, they should only be allowed to build 3% buildings on that land. so that so there's no overbuilding. You know, people may be taking a huge chunk of land and putting as much as they can on it. Does that sound familiar?
It does sound familiar, yeah. Just walking up and down High Street, yeah.
Right. Well, particularly High Street.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a piece of land on High, like they don't want to see apartment buildings, you know, to kind of ruin the integrity of High Street, setting up all over the place. And so they have to have some strict zoning ordinances to cover that also. So they were talking about that and using that as an example. Like if someone has 30 acres of land, how much can they put on it, you know, and depending on where it's located. If you're a farm, it's different, you know. They have outhouses, they have all kinds of things going on, you know, barns, sheds. But yeah, so I mean, that, as we all know from traveling around Newburyport, I know we all want to live here, but the thing is, it has to, it's getting out of hand. You know, now you have developments behind houses, you know?
Yeah.
And then they were saying, too, there could be a historic house there that you can't touch, but somebody can put up a big mansion right in front of it, you know, and if there's the sites that are just a little bit less than 2 house sites, but, you know, if they work around it, they've been able to do that. They've been putting these big houses on or sticking 2 houses on a site that isn't regulated for that. So, so that those were the 2 things that I stayed for because it was a lot going on, but it was a very good meeting as far as, and the councilors added a lot to it. I know there were Councilor Eigenman and Councilor Cameron were there. They were kind of orchestrating the meeting, and then I know Councilor Cronin got up and talked about you know, where he lives too. You just don't know how many, if somebody is running a business like the Airbnb. So it is there are certain areas. There's the R1 and R2 area, and you know, you have to notify abutters if you're going to be using it for a public use, and but in the R3 area, there's no permit needed. So this is what our government is at work doing, Win, and I guess it's something that's long overdue now. You know.
Yeah, things change.
Things change. Yes.
So this last night there was the Newburyport Zoning Board, and then the City
Planning and
Council.
Development, and the City Council. Yes.
Committee as a whole. So
as a whole.
Counselor.
So there were many of the councilors were there. Councilor Tantar got up and spoke out because I think you know, in District 4 he felt that there were several in District 4, so he was concerned about that also because you're not aware of who's coming in. You're not aware of you know, they're not as careful as a homeowner would be. So,
sure, yeah.
And also they were saying if somebody's looking at a house to buy it and the house next door has 3 or 4 Airbnbs running, that lowers the cost of the house, you know what I mean, too. So
the value, yeah.
The value of the house goes down because who wants to live next to, you know, apartments where they don't know a business is being run, but not going according to regulations, not permitted, you know, not in touch with the fire department.
Oh, gee.
You know, and
yeah, all that stuff.
So this is, if you're going to run a business, you have to do it the right way. So I don't know if they'll even allow Airbnbs, but they certainly want to get the taxes for it, and they want the permits to be taken out, and all the safety measures also.
That's right. Now, Airbnb, that got its name because it was all done on the internet? Is that how that worked?
Well, people, they go online and they, you know, see where, if you're going to a city now, whereas instead of looking up hotels, some people, if you have a family or whatever, may go online and just see who's renting out their apartment.
Now, you go over to Ireland quite a bit. Don't they do a lot of that in Ireland, too?
Well, they have B&Bs, yes.
B&Bs.
Bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And they also have to have if you're traveling in Ireland, you usually look for the green shamrock outside the door because that means that they're legal and the government recommends them and they've passed all the inspections and everything to be a B&B. So, it's board board Felta board, which is the welcoming board. So there's many B&Bs throughout Ireland. A lot of people enjoy doing that, but they have to be regulated, registered. There are some that you'll find out when you go into them. If they don't have the shower, well, you go inside, and they're not places you want to stay. A lot of times you turn around and walk out. There are not very many of those anymore, but
So,
you know.
I wonder. I just wonder if
You
they
want to
could-
make sure there's a bathroom, electricity, running water.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm joking, folks. I'm joking. Ireland is actually more modern than this country and has all these beautiful homes now. And a lot of people, you can rent a castle even.
Oh.
Yes, you can rent castles, and they're very well managed, the B&Bs. So, and the food is good.
How about that?
So, but and the B&Bs here in Newburyport are, God, they're like first class. They are first class hotels. They're
Yeah.
beautiful. You know, we've been very lucky with that. So that's what happened last night at the meeting, and as I said, it was a good meeting, and it was very well attended. It was packed room.
Oh, terrific.
And so people are interested. I remember my niece came with her family to New York, and my two nieces actually brought their families, and they rented an apartment in Manhattan, an Airbnb. And it was in a beautiful doorman building, and several bedrooms, 3 or 4 bedrooms, and really nice, and I guess a lot more reasonable than if they had to stay in a hotel. But it was really an exclusive apartment, so I guess they're doing it in New York City too. So Newburyport's right up there with the big guys, you know.
Yeah.
But we want to regulate it and do the proper thing. So they are going to be. You'll be hearing more about that. These meetings, these committees are going to get together and try and work out an ordinance or something that covers Airbnbs.
All right. So to be continued.
To be continued. Yes.
All right. Well, Mary, thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you again. Next City Council meeting coming up on the 28th, but
Right.
Lots of fun stuff in between.
Well, it's so nice to be here looking at you. Right. You know, you're doing a great job, Wynn. Everyone is talking about you around town.
Well,
you know.
thank you.
It's nice to have you back, and it's nice of Port and Joppa to have you here.
Oh, I love being here. It's a lot of fun. We're still in the process of adding some things. We're going to adjust the music a little bit, and on top of that, I'll bring back the birthdays and anniversaries.
Oh, that'll be fun.
One of the things that I did was I made sure that I brought all that information with me.
Very good, very good, and now that'll be fun to listen to. It was nice to hear Carl earlier too.
Yeah.
About the car. That's one of my favorite nights. Is the old cars, the classics. So that'll be fun tonight. It seems like the weather's going to be really nice to do that.
Oh, I know that show has been very blessed. I remember last year it had a little outburst for about 3 minutes. And that was it.
Right.
It wasn't an outburst. It was more like a sprinkle.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
But, it's a beautiful night. Tonight's going to be great. They expect at least 10,000, maybe as many as 15,000 people downtown.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely
They
free.
bring all the family, the kids enjoy seeing the cars.
Yeah.
And the businesses do very well, because I know last year restaurants had lines waiting to get in. So it's a fun place to be, Newburyport, when they have the classic car show.
Yeah, that's right. And that's tonight. High tide's going to be at 8:15, so that'll bring all the boats up a little bit closer to look at from the boardwalk. If you want to go down and do
Right.
that too.
You can do both. Take both in.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mary, thank you again. And
Thank you, Wynn.
we'll be seeing you around town.
Always a
Everywhere.
pleasure with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thanks for the update on that. Any meetings that you plan to hit before now and then? 'Cause
When you sound like I don't have a life, I just go to meetings.
a
Yes.
lot of people like to go to these meetings to they look at it like entertainment.
No, it's funny. I do enjoy hearing what's going on, and
Yeah.
seeing how they approach them. Watch our government at work, and it's nice to be looking from afar.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah.
It is. It's fun.
Oh, good. All right, then we'll see you a little bit later on.
Very good.
All
Thank
right.
you, Wynn.
You bet. Mary Carrier, our guest here on Joppa Radio. WJOP LP, Newburyport, 96.3 FM, part of the Greater Newburyport Community Media Hub, now airing the morning show on Comcast Channel 9 in Newburyport.